Hey everyone, I finished watching the next episode of Power Rangers Time Force Clash for Control Part 2. It was alright. This is a really basic episode. Let's see, I'm not used to watching this episode just on its own, by itself. Usually, when I was younger, I'd watch it on the tape, which had all these episodes put together with a few of the previous ones. On the DVD, usually I'd watch it in marathon and just watch several episodes at once. So this was kind of weird seeing it just on its own, and it's interesting because I realized that on its own, this episode doesn't really work as well as it does, as a continuation of the previous episode, because it's more of just a conclusion to the previous episode more than its own episode. And also it feels kind of padded out because there's a lot of stuff that repeats from the previous episode, which I'll get to in the synopsis here. The episode begins with, let's see. The Q-Rex is still destroying the city. The Rangers call for the Megazord. In the future, we see the mysterious Silhouette guy send the Time Shadow back. I don't know why they showed a clip of Silhouette guy, because he doesn't mean anything to the rest of the episode. Whatever. Anyway, let's see. With the Time Shadow there, they're able to damage the Q-Rex a teensy bit, but then the Q-Rex overpowers him, knocks him right out of the Megazord, but then it retreats and hides in a cave that looks a lot like the cave from the past, from the previous episode. Isn't that strange? I guess Silver Hills just has a cave, I guess maybe the cave hasn't changed in 150 million years. Whatever. Let's see. Eric goes to Mr. Collins, and like last episode, he asks him to be made leader of the Silver Guardians. Mr. Collins tells him no, and then tells him that soon he's going to have the Time Force Rangers working for him. And, let's see. So, because they have controllable Megazords, so Eric decides that now he has to get control of the Q-Rex. So he goes out to gain control of the Q-Rex again. Wes shows up, asks him to give up the Quantum Morpher, again, like last episode, and also like last episode, Eric refuses, and then claims that he'll be leader of Time Force. And then meanwhile, we see at the clock tower, Mr. Collins goes and offers the Rangers the chance to work for him. And then back with Wes and Eric, Wes doesn't know what to think about what Eric's telling him, and Eric insists that the Time Force Rangers would be better off without him, and that he would be a way better leader for the Time Force Rangers. And then they get into a scuffle, and it was kind of cool to see two Rangers fight like this. Like the kinda leader and this new guy coming in, which has kind of become a tradition now that there's some new Ranger who comes in, and he's somewhat of an antagonist, a misunderstood antagonist, like the last couple of seasons. In Lost Galaxy, we had Magna Defender, who, he had lost all empathy for anyone. He didn't care who he hurt, just as long as he could get to whatever his goal was. And then Ryan was brainwashed and completely corrupted by the villains, but then is revealed the truth when he meets his family. And in this season, we have Eric, who's a really interesting character and a really unique character that we don't have anything else like in Power Rangers. Whoops. My notes blinked there for some reason. Okay, anyway. Eric provides a really cool dynamic for the season that we don't get in any other season, where he's not a bad guy, but he doesn't work with the main Rangers. He's more the leader of the Silver Guardian, he will be later on. Back to the plot here. Let's see. Looking through my notes here. See, Wes keeps trying to convince Eric to give him the Morpher, and then Eric leaves to get control of the Q-Rex. And then the Time Force Rangers show up, and Eric assumes that Mr. Collins convinced them to join him, so then he starts to order them, and they just ignore him and go to Wes. Eric doesn't seem too weirded out by this. He's whatever. So then he goes back to the Q-Rex. The Rangers get the Megazords back. They fight Q-Rex again. This is kind of a repetitive episode, actually. And so anyway, Commando Khan, the monster from last episode, he's still around. He grows giant to help Q-Rex. And then, and then Eric gets unbelievably lucky. His quantum powers come with this little computer voice that tells him exactly what the problem is. Q-Rex is being controlled by a blocking device implanted by Commando Khan. And he's like, oh, well, where is it? Beep, 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 beep. It's right here. So he's like, oh, cool. So then he shoots it. He gets control of the Q-Rex. Q-Rex turns into like a fighting Megazord mode. That's really cool. And then it defeats Commando Khan. And then, so yeah, that plot is solved. Kind of easy. If the computer voice had spoken up earlier, this could have been resolved a lot quicker. Whatever. So anyway, the Rangers are glad that the Q-Rex is out of the bad guys' hands, but now they're wary about Eric. They don't know if he can be trusted. And then at the Silver Guardian headquarters, Eric tells Mr. Collins he's gained control of the Q-Rex, and he finally is appointed the head of the Silver Guardians like he wanted. And, yeah, that's it for this one. Nothing really too interesting about this one. The previous episode had a lot more going on with time travel, a new Megazord, Eric using his powers, his new powers more, but now he's been around for a while. We've already seen most of what happened in this episode and the last one. So yeah, it's not bad. It's a really good episode, and as the conclusion to a two-parter, it's like a really good one. It's just nothing really amazing on its own. What's the next episode that we got? Oh, going to Disc 3, Bodyguard in Blue. I'm trying to remember what that one is about. I seem to remember that one being a good one. Like, I can't remember any bad ones in Time Force, so yeah, it'll be fun to go further into the series. So that's all for this one. See ya.